Let's get into our picks for this week, Dad, because there are not a lot of good games this week, but there are a couple, and there are ones that do matter. So we're going to start. We do 6 games every single week that we pick. Today we are picking the 2 primetime games, Saturday night and Sunday night, and then we will also pick 4 more additional games for the week. So let's start with Saturday night. It's a big one. The Bengals have to win to continue to keep their hopes alive in the playoffs. The Steelers have to win for a chance to win the division. And but they'll know kind of already about that, because if the Ravens win earlier in the day, then the Steelers won't have much to play for. That doesn't mean they won't try, but they won't have much to play for if the Ravens win. So, Dad, this is a hard one to pick, and we might have to go back and revisit it after the Browns-Ravens game on Saturday. But which direction do you lean, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh?
Yeah, this is a hard one to pick. Again, I was all about, the Steelers, and they've done a lot better this year, but they have struggled here. And like I said, this game may not mean a lot. Now, their coach has said that, they've got to right the ship here and all that. But I'm going to go with Cincinnati. Cincinnati's hot. It is at Pittsburgh, but Cincinnati, will still have, I think at this point of the game, we'll still, they'll still have a shot at getting in. So, on Saturday night. So I'm going to pick Cincinnati, but this should be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, I'm going Bengals also. They are 2.5-point favorites on the road, which is a little surprising. But again, especially if the Browns win, there's just no reason. I mean, you might see more Justin Fields. You might see some backup guys here and there. So I'm going to go Cincinnati to play it on the safe side, I think, this week, and go with that pick. All right, let's jump down to Sunday night now. This one does matter, and it matters greatly. Detroit and Minnesota playing not only for the NFC North title, but for the NFC title. The winner gets the 1 seed and the bye in the playoffs. The loser becomes the 2 seed and has to play in round 1 of the playoffs. So, Dad, which direction are you going here? Minnesota at Detroit. Detroit 3-point home favorite.
Well, I went back and forth on this one a lot. A couple of weeks ago, Detroit, with all the injuries, I thought they were going to fade, and they have not done that. And they're at home. Minnesota is a good team. Has totally surprised me. But I'm going to go with Detroit at home. I think they've been solid. If I went with Minnesota, it's because I think he could out-coach them at this point. But Detroit's got, they've got a style of play. They're good at it. And, they've been in that spot all year. So if I'm going to make a wise pick, I'm going to pick Detroit.
I'm going to go the opposite on you. I'm taking the Vikings in this one, Dan. I think these teams are very even. I think the coaching staffs are both good. I like the OC, the DC in both places. They've been really good. Quarterback, I think they're really even. I'm not a Jared Goff guy. I'm not a Sam Darnold guy either, but just not. I've been down on Jared Goff. Justin Jefferson's the best player, best wide receiver in the league, no doubt about it. Lions have the advantage at running back. The defenses have both been solid. That it is at Detroit. So I leaned a little bit with my gut on this one, Dad, and I'm going with Minnesota. I expect the Lions to have a falter here in the playoffs. Doesn't mean they can't make it to the 1 seed still, but I'm going to go Minnesota kind of in a surprise, I think, in this one as well. So there you go. I go Minnesota. Dad goes Detroit. We both went Cincinnati. Dad, game number 3 this week. It's your pick. Who do you want to pick this week?
Again, I've done well with my picks, so I'm going to try to be safe, but it's hard to do this week because you don't know who's going to play. But I'm going to go with Baltimore over Cleveland. That should be a very safe pick.
Baltimore over Cleveland. Baltimore needs to win that game to win the division. I think that's probably a very smart pick, a very safe pick as well. I did not pick that game as one of my pick 6, but I think that's probably a smart pick. They're home, first game of the weekend, and they kind of set the pace for the rest of the weekend as well. So I did not go there, though, Dad. I'm going to go with Atlanta over Carolina. Again, Atlanta is just the better team in this one. I actually considered Carolina in this game, but ultimately, Atlanta's going to be playing for the win. They're going to need it, and they're going to be playing for it. They are 7.5-point favorites at home against Carolina, and so I picked Atlanta to win that game. How about you, Dad? Do you have any thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I did not pick that one on my pick 6, but that's probably the safe pick in some ways. But Carolina has surprised people. Atlanta's been awfully up and down. Atlanta should win this. They need to win this. So that's probably a safe pick. And that is who I picked to win it. But that one scared me.
Not in your pick 6. Yeah. And by the way, the Ravens are 20.5-point favorites in Cleveland or against Cleveland. So there's that as well. All right, Dad, give me another game. Who else you got?
Again, a team that needs to win, Tampa Bay over New Orleans. Tampa Bay has been shaky at times, but they can wrap things up with this win. So we'll go with them at home.
I don't want to make light of the situation, Dad, but with everything that went on in New Orleans this week, I'm not going to pick against New Orleans this week. There's going to be a lot of emotion involved, even though it's at Tampa. I know Tampa needs to win this. They don't, depending on how the Atlanta game goes, but they really do need to win this game. They are the better team. They should win this game, but I'm not going to pick in my pick 6. I'm not going to pick that game because there's just a little too much emotion that's going to be involved here. And so I'm going to stay away from that one for my pick 6, but I think that's probably, I think it's probably a correct pick, needless to say. All right, let's see here. So I'm going to go with Arizona over San Francisco. San Francisco is starting Josh Dobbs. I like Josh Dobbs. I'd love to interview Josh Dobbs, but I would not like to pick Josh Dobbs. So I'm going to go with Arizona winning that game against San Francisco. And in that game, let's see here, trying to find it. There he goes. In Arizona, 4.5-point favorites. Arizona is in that game. Dad, your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I didn't pick that game. And as far as my pick 6, in the regular picks, I picked San Francisco, but I have no idea. I have no idea who will win this one. This game doesn't matter for either one of them. And both of them have been such a surprise. So, we'll see. But I did pick San Francisco.
Okay. All right. Game number 5. Who you got?
I will take and this is always a little scary because of being a division game, but I'll take Buffalo on the road over New England.
Okay. Buffalo over New England. Again, New England needs to lose this game. Buffalo, it doesn't really matter what happens for them. They are only 2.5-point favorites in this game, Dad. So that's a dangerous pick. And at New England, I don't know that I'm going to. I mean, Mitch Trubisky, good quarterback. Ray Davis, good running back. So, yeah, I'll probably go Buffalo as well, but not in my pick 6 because, again, that one's a dangerous pick to have. Dad, my 5th game of the week, I just had it, and now I've lost it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Sorry. Oh, Philadelphia over the Giants. Yes, the Giants won last week. Philadelphia was already playing with their backup quarterback. So sign me up for Philadelphia. The Giants cannot win again. It'll crush the souls of all their fans. I'm going Philadelphia in this week, Dad. Your thoughts on Philadelphia and New York Giants?
Yeah, Philadelphia surely should win this one, no doubt about it. And being at home, very safe pick. But again, I just didn't pick that one for my pick 6. But it definitely ought to go that way. I mean, if the Giants or New England or anybody wins this week, it's just definitely fans scratching their head. So,
all right, who's your final pick this week? Your 6th game of the week.
Well, the final pick will be with the oldest rivalry in the NFL, and this will be the Packers over the Bears. We have, we need to win this. It could mean something. It may not, because Washington may win, even though we'll be cheering harder for the Cowboys than I ever have in my life. But anyhow, I think Green Bay, has a lot to prove to themselves to be ready to play. I think they want to come out and really dominate this game and get the starters out. From there, Chicago, I mean, for the first 2 minutes, they'll be excited and it'll be a big rivalry, but that's kind of the way their season is gone. And I think Green Bay can handle this. So I will pick them over the Bears.
I'm picking the Packers, but not in my pick six this week. Just to begin, who knows what they'll do with the starters, and they don't want to lose to the Bears. I know that, but I mean they're in the playoffs. So, do you pick and choose who you want to play against? You shouldn't do that. You just play your game, and whatever happens, happens. So whoever you're matched up against, and just move on with life after that point. It would be nice to be the 6th seed over the 7th seed, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We just got to go out and do our thing. My last pick is going to be Miami over the Jets. Again, Miami is needing to win to keep their hopes alive. This is a 4:25 kickoff here, so they will have an idea to some degree, although the Chiefs and Broncos are playing at the same time. So we'll see. They'll know what happened with Cincinnati and how desperate that situation is, but they still won't know what happened with Denver. But Miami should be a game, easy win over the Jets, and sending off Aaron Rodgers with a loss in his final game. All right, Dad, any other thoughts on Miami, the Jets?
No, I think, again, Miami ought to win that. I mean, the Jets, have been a mess. I think the Dolphins, the defense will be a lot of motivation. Who will be the last person to ever sack Aaron Rodgers? So there's a lot to play for there. So,
all right. Let's look at the other games this week. Dallas is hosting Washington. Again, Washington, if they win, it does count for something, and they are 6-point favorites on the road in Dallas. What are your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I mean, Washington's got everything to play for. Dallas is, has lots of problems. If there ever is a rivalry game, then it is this one. So if Dallas is ever going to, come up and surprise, but I would expect Washington to win. Again, I think Green Bay, I've listened a lot this week, and they pretty much decided they're going to have to go to Philadelphia. So it would be a real treat and a surprise if they didn't. But, Washington's had a great season, such a surprise. And you would think they can go take care of business on this one. So.
All right. Yeah, I'll pick Washington also. Indianapolis is hosting Jacksonville. A disappointing year for both of these AFC South teams. And in this game, Indianapolis, 5-point favorite. Which way do you go with Indianapolis hosting Jacksonville?
Well, this is the only one of the lower teams I'm going to pick, and I'm going to pick Jacksonville. I'm not real sure why, but they have, I think they have reason sometime to surprise. Indianapolis has just been very, very dysfunctional, and, we'll see. So I'm going to pick Jacksonville.
All right. Tennessee Titans are hosting Houston Titans. 1.5-point favorite here. Texans have nothing to play for. Their seed is locked in. So what are your thoughts on Tennessee and Houston? Oh, by the way, Tennessee is they're going to play both of their quarterbacks in this game. So Mason Rudolph and Will Levis are going to get opportunities in this game as announced by the team earlier this week.
Yeah, well, I think, I would pick Houston just because they need to get a little bit of momentum going there. Again, the Titans, this would be just like the Titans, win this game and, change your draft pick a little bit from there, and we will see. So I'll pick Houston, but, again, this is a game I'm not too worried about watching.
Yeah, Davis Mills, I would assume we'll see a lot of Davis Mills in this game for the Texans as well. Let's see here. What else we got? The Rams are hosting Seattle this week. The Rams clinched the division. Seattle has nothing to play for in this game. Seattle, though, 6.5-point favorites because, well, the Rams have nothing to play for in this game either. Seattle will not hurt their draft stock by winning this game really that much. So what are your thoughts on Rams versus Seattle?
Yeah, this is one that's really hard to pick. It's like you said, the Rams already have things locked up. I'm going to pick the Rams, but I have no idea how really which way this one will go. So,
Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo facing off against Geno Smith in this Week 17 battle. We haven't seen Jimmy Garoppolo in quite some time. I'm going to go Seattle in this one. Vegas is hosting the Chargers. Chargers are 4-point favorite in this game. Raiders are playing to either better or hurt their draft stock. Which way are you going with Chargers and Raiders?
I'll pick the Chargers in this one, but we'll see where it goes. So again, the Raiders would hurt themselves to win this one, but I'll go with the Chargers.
Yeah, I will go Chargers as well. Final game of the week is Denver and Kansas City. Denver hosting, and again, must win for Denver to make the playoffs, and they are 10.5-point favorites against the backups in Kansas City this week. Kansas City, of course, has locked down the number 1 seed overall. So Carson Wentz versus Bo Nix. Where are you going with this one?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Denver. Again, it's at home. They have everything to play for. I'm not going to say Kansas City's not going to try, but like I said, they're not playing their starters. Again, this is a division game, and there's some rivalry in the history with this. But Denver's had a good year, and they really need to win this one, and I would think they will.
I'm going to go Kansas City in this game, Dan. I think the coaching staff is better in Kansas City, and Carson Wentz is no pushover. I know he's last few years of his playing career have not been the prettiest, but just watch out for this one. Carson Wentz in this offense, and he's got some talent around him as well. So I will go the Kansas City Chiefs with the upset over the Denver Broncos this week, meaning it opens the door for Miami or Cincinnati to get into the playoffs as well. All right, Dad. Anything else NFL related today?
No, I don't think so. Again, it'd be interesting coming down to the last week as far as seeding is concerned and even getting in. So I think that's good. The NFL would likes that the last week matters. But again, you got a lot of key players sitting out also. So but then the next week we start the playoffs, so that'll be exciting.
Yes, playoff football. We've already got it in college, and in the NFL will be here soon, which means the draft will be here soon as well. And Dad, we've got all kinds of draft coverage coming your way over the next several months. The draft, the big board, the Sports Stove big board has already been posted on bellyupsports.com. We'll continue to update that along the way, and hopefully we'll have some extra draft content for you coming down the road from Belly Up Sports as well. All right, Dad, any other thoughts to discuss before we sign off tonight?
No, I mean, football, like I said, a lot going on. I was surprised that the teams probably that won in college playoffs in some ways. And now with Notre Dame's won, everything's set and they should be good games. The NFL, of course, very interested to keep up with the Packers and how they play and just see how they're going to do, down the line. But like you said, there'll be a lot of excitement next week with Black Monday, as well as where the draft choices fall. And then, like I said, all kinds of talk about the draft coming up from there. So, as far as football is concerned, that's it. I know, again, this is now a football show, so we probably shouldn't talk anything else. And you always love to talk hockey, but the World Junior Tournament's going on, and the United States is doing very, very well. They're in the semifinals coming up on Saturday. So that's been fun to follow that.
Yeah, Brent Radlinski, if you're watching, just in case you didn't see, USA beat Canada and continue their domination as a country. They had the UFL, speaking of football, the UFL is back and will be back. Friday, March 28th is the opening game. Fox and ABC are carrying most of the UFL games. There will be some games on ESPN, ESPN2, and FS1 as well. But most of the games will be on ABC and Fox this year, and including the UFL championship game, which will be June the 14th. So even when the football season ends, the football continues right here on this show, as well as around the world also. All right, Dad, I think that's going to be it for tonight. A reminder about our sponsor, Righteous Felon Jerky, righteousfelon.com. Use the promo code STOVE15. You're going to get 15% off your purchase. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Sports Stove. And as of this week, we're not announcing this necessarily. I am announcing it, but it's not a major announcement. But all of our live streams will now be on Facebook, the Sports Stove Facebook channel. And then the video will then be posted on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel, and the audio available wherever you get your podcasts for the Sports Stove Football Show. So if you want to watch us live, check us out on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook, the Sports Stove, at Sports Stove on Facebook. And then again, we'll put the video up on YouTube, Belly Up Sports YouTube channel as well. All right, that's it for tonight. Also, a quick announcement: the Fantasy Baseball Show returns very, very soon. 10 days from today, January the 12th. Last couple of years, it has been the Sports Stove Fantasy Baseball Show. We are going back under the Belly Up umbrella. So the Belly Up Fantasy Live Baseball Show starting January the 12th. If you want to listen to that, make sure you find it on the audio. Wherever you get your audio podcast, search Belly Up Fantasy Live Baseball. You'll find us there. We'll also show the stream, live stream on Belly Up Fantasy's Facebook page, and the video will be available on the Belly Up YouTube channel following each episode this year. And Kevin Wilson will join me again this year for that one. All right, that's it for tonight. Thanks for tuning in on a special Thursday night edition of the Sports Stove Football Show. We'll be back next week to preview the college football playoff games and the NFL playoffs as well. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Sports Stove Football Show. Until next time, we'll see you around the Sports Stove.